Förflabonga, mantrotakubu. With Dayle and Tony breaking all the rules. Talking tech biz and straight up chaos. Quick fire guests, oh yeah, we slay those.
Good afternoon. My name is Dayle Rodriguez, and this is Flabonga Monthrothacube. With me today, I've got my fantastic guest,
Joanne Bell.
Joanne Bell. Jo, thank you for being on the show. How's it going?
It's going really well, thank you, Dale. Thanks for having me. It's an honour.
Good. Question for you. Are you always Joanne, or are you sometimes Jo?
Mostly Joe, but yeah, very aware that my LinkedIn profile's Joanne, so.
Can I call you Jo?
Absolutely, go for it.
Cool. First of all, second of all, do you want a title or a headline? You know, like me, I've got like D-Rod, my nickname underneath. Do you want something like that?
Oh, that's a good question. My friends at school used to call me Joji for no apparent reason. So, you know, I could be that. It's not very cool, but, you know, it's a thing.
Joji? How does one spell Joji?
Jojey.
Jey? Like this, hold on.
That's it.
Okay. All right, we're learning new things every day. For people who didn't know, that's one of Joe's nicknames from back in the day. I do need to do a quick sponsor promo, and I'm going to do this one off the dome, right? So, as some people may or may not know, this show is sponsored by a company called Nomad Flow. Nomad Flow was founded by a guy called Lee Stallard. Lee is an expert in fintech adoption. So if you are an accounting firm and struggling to get your staff using a certain fintech product, he's your guy. And if you are a fintech vendor or provider selling to accountants and bookkeepers, he is your guy. Why is he your guy? Because he spent the last 20 years working in fintech and working for, you know, massive brands like Xero. Like he understands rollout and partnership models and all that kind of fun stuff. So if your fintech products have stalled or projects have stalled, talk to Nomad Flow, talk to Lee. He's a good guy. Cool. Paid promo over. Joe, it's all about you. For those who don't know you, please could you explain who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the director of Bell's Accountants. We are based primarily in Chislehurst, but we've also got offices in Wallington and Sevenoaks. I've been running Bell's for coming up 18 years now, and it's grown by a combination of organic growth and also acquisitions. So yeah, I've had some fun buying up practices from retiring practitioners, digitalize them, integrating them with the existing firm, putting management teams in and things like that. All fun stuff, not without its challenges, as you can imagine.
So presumably that might give you knowledge and insights that maybe other accountants and bookkeepers don't have. And hear me out, lots of legacy firms have grown through the decades/centuries, right? Organic growth only. Lots of business owners want to grow by acquisition, but it's quite a hard thing to do, M&A. So you actually have first-hand experience of how to do it, correct?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And increasingly people or firm owners who are maybe a bit smaller are looking for opportunities to be acquired by firms who are not private equity based, not sort of big corporates. They want someone that's going to sort of treat their clients like friends the way they have done over the years. Yeah, funny stuff as well. I've got some staff members who, in theory, because of the 2P laws, have worked for me since before I was born, because of how long they worked for the previous practitioner, and I have to honour their years of service. So yeah, it's a strange twist of law.
That's pretty cool. All right then, what are the top 3 off the top of your head things people or business owners don't consider when they're thinking of an acquisition?
For me, the people are the biggest factor. So they tend to do due diligence around the numbers. Obviously, you know, is the business deal going to stack up? But for me, the times when it hasn't worked is because it hasn't been a good cultural fit with the people. So the people due diligence is equally as important. Getting the opportunity to sit in front of the team, find out what they would change about the place. That's really, really essential. In accountancy specifically, the age of the client's really important as well. We have people look at, you know, they're just looking at the gross recurring fees and not thinking actually if lots of these clients are in their 50s and 60s, they might be looking to retire soon or sell up, and then they haven't got a client base anymore. So obviously it impacts the value. So yeah, those two. And then I think location is probably the third as well. That is this a location you want to expand into? what's the plan? Are you going to be able to integrate it with an existing premise that you've got? Or is it sort of big enough to stand on its own too in the area that it's in? And what's happening in that area? Is it a growth area?
Okay. So you mentioned, like, again, people and cultural fit can be a difficult one. If you have gone through a merger or acquisition and you've done your due diligence and you've done it and there is a cultural fit, like how would you go about fixing that? Because presumably by then it's too late. You're going to have to work with these people. You've now got employees. You can't just sack them, right? So what can you do to fix it?
Yeah. So if you've acquired the firm already, then really it's about your kind of conventional restructuring. So we do things like team alignment days where you're kind of showing them the vision, and obviously generally people will sort of self-select as to whether they're on board with that or they're not. There's potential if you already have resources that you then don't need from their practice, then potentially there's redundancies. We would always try and avoid that at all costs, because generally people, and also people, everyone has something to offer, whether that's relationships directly with the clients and we're not the type of firm that steamrollers in and goes, well, our process is the best, so we're just going to roll that out everywhere. We look at their process and ours and see which elements of which. So we're just looking to improve all the time and say, well, actually, they do that part better than us, so we'll put that into the overall process and move forward with that, rather than just assuming we know best, because that's rarely the case.
Cool. I'm sorry, I need to jump into the comments very quickly. Mehul, good afternoon from sunny and hot London. Hey, Mehul, thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions for Joe, please type them in. I might read them out. I might not, because I'm a menace, but it's worth asking. Joe, would you like a serious or a silly question next?
Oh, let's do a serious one first.
A serious one?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
What advice would you give to someone starting a business this year, 2026? I know it's halfway through the year already, but like, what advice would you give them, literally starting from scratch?
Yeah, I mean, as an accountant, I'm always going to say get your financials sorted out. Get a forecast, get a professional to look at the forecast. I've looked at a lot of them where there's a lot missing, that they weren't aware of that they would incur. They might have, not considered VAT or something like that, which can obviously make a big difference as to whether the business is viable or not in the first place. And there's absolutely no point doing any more research if the numbers don't stack up,
Okay, you touched on something there. So VAT and viability. Again, could you give another example of maybe where you looked over a startup proposal or forecast and they've missed things? Can you give examples?
Yeah, so there was one recently where they hadn't omitted the VAT, but they'd miscalculated it. So they'd made an assumption that VAT was 20% flat of what they were collecting from their customers, whereas in fact the total is 120%. So you've got to break it down, divide by 120 times by 20 to get the VAT, which is quite technical, but it does make a big difference to the numbers. You can't just take a flat 20% of your turnover to get the VAT. It's a different number. So yeah, they've done that. And they also hadn't considered business rates. That was the other thing they'd missed. So they had the rent from the landlord, but because they didn't know the rateable value, they didn't have that in there either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, stuff I'd probably overlook. So good shout. If you could eat one animal for the rest of your life, forsaking all others, what animal would you eat? I'm not talking like a cut of meat. I'm just talking like the various options from said animal.
Various options. Yeah, no, makes sense. It has to be a cow for me. I feel I'm a beef girl. Yeah. There's lots of options with that. Mince related, steak related, roast beef. Nothing you can't do.
I'm inclined to agree. I used to pick chicken because it's so convenient, but I was like, actually, beef gives you more variety. I don't think I've ever eaten chicken mince before.
No, I feel like I'd get tired of chicken really quickly.
I remember asking this question to someone before, and people who've watched previous episodes, please let me know. They said turkey as their meat of choice. I was like, no one is picking turkey as their meat of choice. No one normal, right?
I feel sad about that. I do love a Christmas turkey, but I wouldn't want to eat it on a random Tuesday. Do
you really love Christmas turkey, or do you like the novelty of turkey? Because in my opinion, turkey is a trash low tier meat.
No, see, I do like a Christmas turkey, but I go all out. I get a proper, Norfolk black. I literally, drive and get it from the countryside, so it's all free range and plump, and it makes a big difference.
Do you dispatch the turkey yourself?
No, it's already plucked and stuffed inside a cat box.
Okay. So I only eat turkey. I created a Christmas tradition a few years ago. I had a very large oil drum smoke, and I was like, oh, what happens if I brine this, spatchcock it, and cook it over the smoker with cherry wood, and yeah, brining it and seasonings, and that's the only way I'll eat turkey. Like otherwise, it's just I don't like the flavour.
See, that's how you know you're a proper griller. The fact that the wood makes a difference. It's got to be.
The wood does
very
make a
good.
difference.
I know. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
impressive that you know that.
Yeah, it's because I'm a nerd. All right, let's go. What are you, apart from numbers, what are you nerdy about? What's your nerd thing? Come on.
Nerdy. Probably my garden.
Your garden.
Yeah, I'm like about 80 years old, and I've got like a little vegetable patch in my garden, and
Okay.
I'm out there in my slippers and my gown, looking at my tomatoes in the morning, seeing if any of them are ripe. That's pretty nerdy, isn't it?
Well, again, it depends. Like, I would say it's nerdy if you start buying, I don't know, specialist compost or nitrogens or stuff like that. Do you do anything like that, or checking soil temperatures and or moisture?
Well, I make my own compost.
You make your own compost.
I've got like a bench, a lift up bench, and all the compost material goes in there. So yeah, you can't put weeds in there because you'll spread the weeds on the patch. And yeah,
That makes sense now that you say it. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're nerdy about your gardening or vegetable growing.
Oh yeah, you'll hear me talking about cucumbers and all sorts of nonsense.
What's the biggest cucumber you've ever grown?
Well, see, my problem is the space, because I've got one big space and I keep that for pumpkins, because my daughter likes to do the Halloween pumpkins, scooping them out and all of that, and they take a lot of room. So I end up usually only doing the mini cucumbers up the trellis. So yeah, not that impressive in stature, I'm afraid.
Sorry, not gonna lie. I am doing summer holiday parenting and I have a small human next to me.
Aren't
Please
we
bear
all?
with me. This is not good live stream, people. If we had some hold music, that would be great. Joe, if you want to feel like just talking to yourself, that
Yeah, just keep going. Oh, bless her. Yes, I think it's difficult for all of us parents, isn't it? Really, the struggle is real. I've managed to get cover for my daughters today, but generally she'd be loitering around me as well. I definitely wouldn't get away with live streaming with her in the house, though. Dale's daughter must be very good.
sometimes I've done the live stream with her and there's literally no interruption. People would never know she's here. But today, she wants my attention. Thank you for holding down the fort, by the way. Sorry, you mentioned
It's a battle that we all face.
You mentioned your daughter. How goes summer holidays for you?
Oh yeah, it is a struggle. She's been off for a month already, another month to go, and yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. I'm starting to run out of ideas. We've done all the arts and crafts under the sun. We've done loads of day trips. We've even been on holiday, and yeah, I'm now having to rely on friends and family a bit more.
To be fair, I've taken parenting advice from the character Roy Kent in Ted Lasso. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
Yeah, recently actually.
Okay, so there's a clip in it. Wait, have you watched it? I don't want to spoil it for you.
No spoilers. The audience might not have watched it either.
Actually, this isn't a huge spoiler. Basically, he's a scene where he's walking, I think, with Rebecca or whatever, and he's looking after a kid, or she's looking after a kid, and he says something like, "Did you need a parade growing up every day?" And they're both like, "No, we didn't. I didn't need a parade. Kids don't need constant entertainment. They just want to be part of your life." And he's kind of right. Like, we don't have to take them to the cinema all the time or bowling. Like, yeah, like take them shopping with you, or just go to the park. It doesn't have to be an adventure every time.
Yeah, absolutely. They just want to be with you.
Exactly. The chumps that they are. They don't know any better.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so beef is your animal of choice. Mergers and acquisitions are a thing. Oh, okay. Here's a question I ask to most accountants. Can you laymanize or explain what a journal is? Accountants are always like, "Oh, I'll just journal it over. Journal this." What's that even mean?
Yeah. Do you know what? When that drops, when you're in college, when you finally understand, no one does, and then a couple of years in, you suddenly go, "I get it," just through constantly doing it. But a journal, effectively, is just the principle that wherever there is a debit, there is always a credit. So in order to balance books, you have to put, if you put an entry in, you have to put that entry the other side as well. So, for example, if you raise a sales invoice, the entry will increase sales in your profit and loss account, but it will also increase debtors on your balance sheet. So it'll increase the amount that the business is owed.
Correct.
So there's always two sides to the journal.
So when an accountant says, "I'm going to journal it," are they moving that transaction in some way or changing that? What are they doing?
Yeah, they're either writing it off, changing the overall value, or, like you say, moving it somewhere else into the accounts. But it will always be in the format of a debit and a credit. It'll be two sides.
And is that where accountancy becomes slightly more technical? Because depending on, I mean, the nature of the business or the transaction or the tax implications, that's what the accountant may or may not move depending on their experience or, again, business needs. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you could get it wrong. You could put it the wrong way, and, you know, increase someone's profit when you're meant to decrease it, or vice versa. Yeah, so you've got to make sure you understand the implications of what you're posting. I think it's more and more difficult as well for juniors to learn this stuff, because software just does it all in the background. They basically learn how to process receipts and how to, you know, raise a sales invoice within Xero or QuickBooks, but they don't understand what entries, because every entry is a journal, but they don't understand what the system's doing in the background. Whereas I used to do it on a big sheet of paper.
Like, were they called T accounts? Is that right? Is that the old school way of doing it?
You'd start with what they call a trial balance, and then you'd have your, you know, your bank, all the ins and outs of your bank, then your petty cash, then your journals, then your closing trial balance, and it'd be just, they called it, I think, simplex paper or something. It was a massive thing. Do it all in pencil so you could rub out when you got it wrong.
See, now I understand why accountants might charge £400 an hour for that. That makes sense. That like doing that, you know, 20 years ago or whatever, that makes sense. That sounds like take forever.
I used to work for a guy who was amazing. He used to be able to just, he'd put his finger on the page, look at a page, like the whole list of numbers. He'd pull his finger down the page like that, and he'd just tell you how much he could add it. He was like a human calculator. It was amazing. I definitely can't do that. Don't ask me to do that down the pub.
I was about to ask if you got that kind of Rain Man power. So my observation as a non-accountant / bookkeeper, I'm not, right? There's a strong correlation between accountants and bookkeepers and maybe undiagnosed autism. You all are a special breed. I mean that respectfully, right? There's just like a certain way your brains work. No? Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for those who are good at it, see, I am of the opinion that I very quickly realised I didn't fit into that category, because I'm probably more on the ADHD side of the spectrum. So that's why I was always going to end up running my own business, because I'm far too bigger picture. I'm not anywhere near as detail orientated. You know, I was never the best technical accountant. I was more on the business advisory side, the strategy, you know, the marketing, key performance indicators, things like that. Whereas my team do the technical side a lot better than I do.
When I worked at KR, I realized there were kind of 3 accountant archetypes, usually from a partner level as well. There were the extreme technical, and they had no social skills whatsoever. But again, they were that human calculator, remember tax legislation from like 50 years ago before they were born, and they just knew it. And it's very impressive because they could walk into a room and be like, these 3 things are wrong, and save the company, I know, hundreds of thousands of pounds, right? But no social skills. There was the extreme other end where obviously they were competent because they're partner level and they're trained and qualified, but attention to detail, not their thing, maybe kind of like you. And then there was that weird unicorn, right? There's ones that had both. They had this insane technical ability, possibly eidetic memories, but also extremely sociable. Am I right? Those are like the 3 main archetypes of accountants.
Absolutely.
And everyone hates the middle one because everyone wants to be that one, right? You want to be that person that's got the calculator brain and the charisma at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And they do exist more and more increasingly. I think they do exist as well, because accountancy, I think, has become more trendy, hasn't it, with the tech that's involved in it, and, you know, the marketing of it and the advisory side. So it's attracted a different type of person that doesn't just want to sit behind a computer screen all day.
I like how you use the word trendy. That's a word my mum would use.
I'm going to put it out there. Accountancy is trendy.
Is it? It
can be in the hands of one of those unicorns.
To be fair, you're right. It is on trend, isn't it? Accountancy is exciting. Well, they're saying that. There's lots of people talking about the employment shortage in accountancy. You being a business owner and accounting firm owner, have you noticed this? Are less young people getting in there? Is there less people at a qualified level around?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've also heard that. Lots of people talk to me about that. I think seniors are increasingly more difficult to come by because they'd rather sort of stay where they are, a bit more stability. You know, you've been somewhere a long time, you just get comfortable, I suppose. But there are no shortages of youngsters. I haven't found. They're really, you know, they're so desperate for an opportunity, you know, whether that's graduate level or they're doing T levels or apprentice, you know, they want an apprenticeship. And there's lots of kids that want to get into financial services, and yeah, we didn't really used to have the infrastructure to support someone who was a completely raw junior. We just didn't have the training program in place, but we have taken on 2 so far this year and looking to take a 3rd potentially, and actually it's worked out really well. They're really keen, and really grateful for the opportunity, and they've got a lot to offer.
It kind of makes sense. Like I personally am actively telling younger people younger than me, should I say, not to go to university unless you're going to do, I don't know, some engineering, architecture, doctor, nurse, or something that requires a degree. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Find yourself an accounting firm that's hiring, join at 16 and get to work in.
Yeah, unless it, like you say, unless it is vocational, it feels as though it's just not worth the debt. And a good thing about accountancy is it's so transferable. That doesn't mean that you have to want to become an accountant, whether that's industry or practice, but those skills you can use anywhere. Everything in business is about money, isn't it? So having a good core understanding of that in the first place is really useful. And graduates, the jobs that are available. I heard a statistic the other day from a person over one of our mastermind meetings. So don't quote me, I don't know if it's true, but he said there are something like 10,000 graduate jobs to 400,000 graduates. And I thought that cannot be right. But he was a pretty intelligent guy. So yeah, right. I'd say, but the competition, can you imagine like trying to fight for one of those 10,000 jobs? I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, I remember when I graduated so many years ago, like I didn't get a graduate job straight away. I got a job that did not require a degree, and it got to the point where like you had a degree and it wasn't enough. Like everyone was doing masters and stuff like that. So I can't be bothered with that. I would have spent 4 years at uni. Just going to jump into the comments again. Randy House. Randy, hello, my brother across the pond, and hello to Joanne. Randy is a very cool guy. Forgive me, Randy, I can't remember which coast or state you're based in, but essentially it's very early in the day for you, right? At least a good 6-hour difference. So good morning, good sir. Thank you for joining us. If you've got any questions for Jo, she's an accountant, feel free to ask her. Or ask a non-accounting question. Ask the silly questions. You know the show. For example, Jo, get serious. If there were one fictional character you could punch or slap in the face and get away with it with no repercussions and no judgment, who would it be?
Oh, fictional.
Yeah.
So does that mean
you sound disappointed?
Well, no.
Slowly.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. Actually, I was a bit disappointed. But
we'll explore that afterwards. Please answer the question, then we'll explore your disappointment thereafter.
Okay, so I need more clarification. So when you say fictional, does it have to be like a cartoony type character, or just a character that an actor?
No, you could say Grant Mitchell, for example, because he's not a real person; he's a character.
Oh, okay, fine. Do you know what? For me, it's Doctor Who. Actually, I just don't like it. I don't like
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
every single Doctor. You give a.
I don't like any. I don't get it. People love it, don't they? And I just think, oh God, it's really. I don't know. It's just silly. I don't understand.
Just when I thought we could be friends, Jo. I'm not like a huge Doctor Who fan, but I've enjoyed some of them in the past.
Oh, I know. That's why I said it, because I knew it would
to irk me.
Yeah, primarily.
Now, let's delve deeper into your psyche. Why are you disappointed when you couldn't pick real peoples? Who are you beefing with, Jo?
Well, do you know, for me, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get me to the point of anger. So yeah, I would never be, in reality, I would never be angry enough at a fictional character to ever slap or punch them in the face. But there are some, really horrible real people that I definitely would do. I tend to be one of those that I don't get angry ever for myself, but anything to do with, mistreating people I care about, or children or animals and things like that, that would be the thing that would rile me up enough.
Okay. Mark Howison, he's come in with a question. Thank you, Mark. He's a long-time friend of the show. He's been on 2 or 3 times. In fact, we owe the jingle to him. He created it, right? So Mark Howison, question, caramel wafer or Tunnock's tea cake? Only pick one, and why? That's a great question, Mark. Thank you.
That is a good caramel, definitely caramel wafer, sweet tooth for me. Is the Tunnock's tea cake, is that the thing with the marshmallow in? Yeah, marshmallow, textural thing. Love toasted marshmallows, love that in the fire, but not so much the chewy raw kind. Yeah.
I'm also with you as well. I like the caramel wafer. I think I prefer the flavor. Texture of tea cake, not so bad, but I don't like the messiness that it involves. I can't not eat it without getting chocolate all over my fingers.
And stickiness.
Yeah, no one likes being sticky. Mark, fantastic question. Thank you. You know what?
We're attracting food-based questions, Dayle, don't we?
If you've watched any of the show before, it often devolves into food, travel journeys. Oh, there we go. Apologies all, by the way. Sorry. Tony's not with us today because he's not feeling very well. So please send some love and or prayers for Tony. I don't know what's wrong with him. Maybe Skype, maybe he's not sick. I'll find out. But in honor of Tony, I'm going to ask you the hot beverage question. So, tea, coffee, or hot chocolate? What's your beverage of choice?
Don't drink coffee. Mum said I'd like it when I grew up. Never grew up. So it has to be tea or hot chocolate. But it does depend on the occasion, I think. Cup of tea on a standard day, but I do love a hot chocolate as a treat.
Okay, Joe, this is very important. And you will be judged for this by me, others. When you are making your cup of tea, let's presume you're doing it the standard English way with a tea bag.
Mhm.
How are you making your cup of tea? What order are you doing it in?
So water over the tea bag, 2 minutes to brew, roughly.
Mm.
Tea bag out, then milk.
Okay. No sugar in there?
Again, love a sugar, trying to cut down. Maybe half a sugar at the end.
Sugar is in after the milk.
Yes. Unacceptable.
Got to go in before the milk, but
It's still hot enough to dissolve it, even with the milk. We're not talking loads of milk.
okay. Dare I ask, what color tea do you like?
Oh.
Like me, Ricky Martin, like what? Sorry.
Not you, Dayle.
That's too dark. It's too dark.
Your coffee all over. Can't compare to a cup of tea. It depends. See, I quite like a Yorkshire tea, which is quite dark in the big scheme of things. In the scale of tea, I'd say it's quite dark.
Wait, is Yorkshire tea a brand or a color of tea?
It's a brand, so it's a brand of tea bag, but it's strong. It's a strong, proper
Okay.
builder's cup of tea.
All right. Okay. Oh, look, Indy's here. Hi, it's Indy Tatler from The Loop. He's the reason why we have to ask about hot chocolate. So basically, Tony and I have evolved the coffee or tea question over the last couple of months. And then Indy, when she was on a couple of weeks ago, was just like, neither hot chocolate. And we're like, don't be daft. And then she went into this 5 or 6 step process of making a hot chocolate. And after it, we were like, that is worthy of addition. Like, if you want some good hot chocolate.
If you hadn't have included hot chocolate in the question, I definitely would have added it. The only time it's quite embarrassing is when you're like, I'm in a sophisticated business meeting, and I in a Nero or a Costa or whatever, and I always feel like I should order some fancy coffee and end up going, yeah, hot chocolate, extra cream, please. It just feels a bit childish, but just own it. That's what I say.
No, exactly. 100% own it. Okay. That's inspired another question. So, childish drinks, according to you. Childish food. Let's say you're out and about and you're at the client meeting. What embarrassing food could you not order?
Oh, see, I quite like. I suppose my guilty pleasure is like the kids menu stuff. I still love that. I like fancy food as well, but I love a plate of nuggets or a fish fingers, something like that. But again, just why that business meeting?
The reason why I'm laughing is I can imagine you meeting a client in like central London, Covent Garden, you going somewhere and they've got like an amazing menu that, I'm gonna have chicken nuggets and chips.
Yeah, especially if it was like some cultural. Can you imagine if it's a Chinese or a Thai or something, and you're like, I love the nuggets, please.
I've got friends like that as well. Like, so we've gone on holiday with a few friends, and I'm not going to name names, but like, let's call my friend John. John is the kind of dude that we'll go somewhere and we'll go to Spain, and they'll be like, I don't know, fresh paella with like amazing, like just like fresh fish on it, and he'll be like, nah, man, I'm gonna try and find McDonald's. I'm like, bro. Like, just you're somewhere, and I get it. You might not like fish, but I'm giving that as an example. Like, there's other things you could try, and he won't. He'll have chips almost every time.
Yeah, that is a waste, isn't it? A waste of a cultural opportunity.
He's also the reason why I don't share food. He's the kind of guy that if we go to get a Chinese takeaway, he would order the same, maybe 2 or 3 things, and they're always like I don't want to offend anyone here, but like the stuff that's just like generic everywhere. And then if he wants to share food, I'll order something a bit interesting. And he'll be like, oh, let me try some of yours. No. Eats most of mine. He's like, hey, man, do you want my sweet and sour chicken balls? Again, nothing against those, but those are the same everywhere. No Chinese has ever done like a banging extra super, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the comfort of it, though, isn't it? That they're the same everywhere, I suppose. You know what you're getting.
Yeah. It's like the McDonald's of Chinese food. Chicken balls.
There are some places as well, I think, in the world where the food's quite disappointing, especially the touristy places. Like, you expect to go to a certain place and have an amazing, Italian dish or an amazing Spanish dish, and actually it's full of sort of touristy locations where they're just in, out. They're never going to see you again, so they don't have to try that hard, and it's quite generic. It's best to get right out of the cities. I'd say Rome was an example of that for me. The centre of Rome. It's an amazing place to go for the Colosseum and all of that, but the food specifically in Rome, you need to get out, into the surrounding countryside or the mountains or whatever, where you get the real authentic Italian food. that's because they got to work to get you there.
Fair play, fair play. Okay, so speaking of Rome and other holiday destinations, off the top of your head, best holiday destination you can recall?
Oh, I loved Australia.
Yeah,
I thought Australia was a beautiful place. It's just like England, but such better weather, such better scenery, such better food, friendly people. Yeah, lovely place.
a lot of deadly things there, right?
Yeah, if you go into the bush, yeah, but cute things too. You know, koalas and cockatiels.
I don't think koalas are that cute, if I'm honest.
They are to look at. I know where you're going with this, Dale. You can't.
They're kind of ugly. They have syphilis, and do you know? I didn't know this, but someone fact check this for me. The eucalyptus leaves they eat, they actually, like, for them, when they digest it, they get a little bit high. So they pretty much like eat for like 2 or 3 hours a day, then sleep because they're high, and then they spread STDs to each other.
Brilliant. It's like you can't feed them after midnight. It's that type of rule.
Yeah, like gremlins.
Yeah.
You're showing your age there, by the way. There's a whole generation of people who have no idea what gremlins are.
I know.
Or Furbies, which are kind of like fake gremlins.
Oh, I love Furby. Do you know they've got like a new Furby now, but it's small. It's not like our ones were big, and yeah, they're little.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a rumor that Furbies were actually toys made by China to spy on our country.
I can imagine.
And my dad pointed out, it was like, son, the reason why that's ridiculous is, what would they spy on? Kids' bedrooms? That's weird. Like, do you mean like that wouldn't make sense?
That is weird.
Yeah, that and Tamagotchi. Tamagotchis. Oh, they were
Tamagotchi.
They were awesome.
I'd have one of those now. I feel like it's very therapeutic. Sit there and feed Tamagotchi. I'd have to come off the live stream for a second to feed my Tamagotchi. It'd be great.
Just in case anyone wants to know, I looked to the right because Phoebe has just told me that she's got a Tamagotchi.
I love how she's joining in the conversation.
I don't. Very dramatic, if I'm honest, but there we go. Please stop. Thank you. Love you, kiddo.
We were talking about kids' toys. You can't blame her for joining in on that.
No, you're right. You're right. That's on me. I got too excited. She got excited. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna mix up a little bit. Usually I wait till the end. Joe, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, what is the thing you're enjoying working on the most at the moment?
So Summer Law, their financial year runs from June to June. So new financial year for us. I've just done my OKRs, like my targets for the year, and I put it into a very robust and detailed document. It took me a while to do it because, again, attention to detail is my thing. I'm proud I've done it. I've shared it with our board, and hopefully the numbers on it make sense. But it's yeah, that's really sad, isn't it? That's what I'm working on. I genuinely enjoy getting it done.
See, you're the opposite of me, the attention to detail. See, we're learning.
What's that? As in, no, I don't have attention to detail at all.
Can I have another question?
Yeah, sure.
Are you going to watch the solar eclipse tonight? That's what everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I am. I failed in getting eclipse glasses. I'm not gonna lie. I only found out about it yesterday, or maybe the day before. Tried to order some on Amazon. They were all gone. Wouldn't ship in time. Tried to look for some today. Found out that you can get welder's goggles that could do it, but they've got to be shade 14, which no normal store sells. So I'm going to make a pinhole protector thingy and look at it that way.
Amazing. Yeah, I was debating with another friend this morning whether you really needed the glasses, and I was very firmly told, yes, you absolutely do. Don't stare at the sun. And it's the bit where the moon moves away that's the dangerous bit.
Yes, so that's the part. Like, you can sometimes look at the sun, you shouldn't, but it's when the moon moves away, your eye can't react fast enough. That's when you might blind yourself. But yeah, there's been a lot of hype about it. Like, there's been a lot of chats and team chat about it. I didn't realize that's a big deal. Like I said, I was late to the party. Didn't realize. There's
loads of shooting stars last night as well, because there's like a meteor shower going on at the same time. So yeah, if anyone wants to see a shooting star, get out there, have a look up. They're so quick. The first time you wonder if you've had a visual disturbance. I was like, am I having a stroke? And then when more of them came, I was like, no, it's a thing.
Have I asked you the biscuit question before?
No, we did have the wafer versus the tea cake, but not biscuit.
Okay, Joe, if you were a biscuit, what kind of biscuit would you be that accurately portrays your personality and why, but don't just pick your favorite biscuit?
Okay. I would say I'm a custard cream.
Oh,
Yeah. Layers. There's layers to me. There's a squishy bit in the middle. Very sweet.
uh-huh. That's a very blind date kind of answer. Thank you.
Are people's answers not normally blind date related?
No, well, that's just me teasing you, if I'm honest. Some people give me some very deep, insightful answers. Some people are genuinely shocked and don't want to answer. And I've asked this question to like people I've worked with, and some of them overthink it and come back to me like 2 months later with an email. And it's like it's too much information. They'll be like, "Well, I'm this kind of biscuit because my dad hit me when I was a kid." I'm like, "Calm down. It's just an icebreaker. It's not that deep."
There's no need to trauma dump about the biscuits.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Again, anyone in the chat, any questions for Joe, please fire away. Okay, we should probably ask you some serious ones though, because again, I keep forgetting this is technically LinkedIn, and it's a serious platform for serious people doing serious business things.
We'll get hate if we speak too much about biscuits. People are like, this is not for LinkedIn. Go back to Facebook.
I'm okay with the hate. I often say the hatred will only make me stronger, so bring me the hate. What is the silliest accounting or bookkeeping mistake you've seen?
I think actually it's missing deadlines. I don't understand. That to me is just such a massive waste of money. You know, we see people sometimes that haven't come to see us until they've already racked up like $3,000 in fines, and they haven't got $3,000 to pay in fines. You know, and you think this could just so easily have been avoidable. Most things in accountancy, you've got quite a long run up. You know, you've got sort of 9-10 months to file after the period ends. So, yeah, I don't understand why people will leave it.
Okay, what's the funniest accounting mistake you've seen, or no, even better, funniest request that a client's tried to put through on the books or the accounts?
Oh, we've had loads of those great ones. We had a Harley Davidson as an emergency response vehicle.
Nice try. Yeah, nice try.
Yeah. I sort of was tempted to give it to them. To be fair, I thought zipping through the traffic in London, they were London based. I thought, yeah, I can sort of see this. Yeah, reasonable.
I had Stephanie Marshall on a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, one of her clients was trying to put through his wife's boob job. I was like, yeah. I was like, marketing, maybe.
That one's. I was going to say, I'm trying to come up with an argument for that one. I'm like, there must be something. No.
Not right now, kiddo. Thank you, though.
Dogs are another one. People quite like to put expensive dogs through their books and try and say that it's some sort of security dog when, you know, they don't have a premises or they work from home and it's a Labrador, you know.
So the best one I ever got, despite not being an accountant, and I was like, I don't think that's going to work, right? So client asked me if they could get an office chicken. I was like, explain. And they were like, okay, the chicken could be therapeutic. I was like, And then they were like, okay, the eggs it lays, staff could have those for lunch, and there'd be some kind of benefit for staff. And I was like, I'm not an accountant, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to fly. That's not going to.
I mean, no. I agree that chickens are therapeutic. I have chickens in my garden, so I'd back that one. Whether they're tax deductible, I'd say no.
No. So as much as I'm frustrated by Phoebe interrupting me, I've just been gotten a glass of water.
Oh, bless her. So sweet.
She's just offering me her special mocktail squash. Now, I don't know who's taught her about mocktails, but apparently it's a thing that she knows about. And she wanted to make me one, which is very sweet.
Brilliant.
Okay. A moptail. I'm being corrected. It's a moptail, apparently.
That's such a better name.
Thank you, Phoebe.
I will forever call it a moptail from now on.
Well, hopefully this isn't too personal. What kind of cute things does your daughter do?
Oh, she's very kind, my daughter. She's very, very good with her little cousin. Little cousin's only 2, and she absolutely adores him. Cries when we leave him. Very, very sweet. Yeah, she's very thoughtful generally. She's she's always sort of looking after me. Bless her.
That's nice. Mark Howson's come in with a business-related question. Bear with me as I process before I read out loud. 2 seconds. This is usually where Tony would cover and say stuff and make the show flow better. Mark Howson, do you agree or disagree that adding AI functions to accounting software is just another way to increase the monthly subscription cost? That's a fantastic and poignant question, Mark.
Good question. I mean, I would definitely wouldn't agree that it's just another way to increase the monthly subscription cost. I think it is a way because more functionality, obviously, we expect to pay more. But I think it's necessary now, isn't it? Everyone's expecting to streamline and everything to within an inch of its life, so that needs much less human intervention. So I think most softwares now have some form of AI function built in.
I think it depends on how good the functionality is. And I would say 80% of the time, the functionality is not great. So yes, but I have seen systems where the AI layer does work very, very well, and it justifies the costs. Like the ability to type into a ledger type service or a bookkeeping system going, please run me a forecast based on this, this, and this, and it actually does it, and it does it quickly, and you haven't had to click through reports, put it in Excel, and then do the report. That's great. I've seen that. So when it works well, no, it's not just a increase, but again, you're right. There's a few products that have added AI. It's like you just jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah. It's other things as well, isn't it? There's not just necessarily the preparation of the accounts and the bookkeeping, but things like meeting notes, CRM functionality, searching, because we have to keep audit trails of everything, so it will search for your emails and file them all in the correct comms folder. And there's lots of stuff that is really useful, because that was a really boring, tedious manual task before.
Ooh, I got a question for you. It's going to be very, very challenging. From my perspective, as someone who's not an accountant and does sales, why is it there is no decent, and I mean decent / proper CRM for accounting firms? Like every single practice management tool I've ever used is not a proper CRM. It's absolutely useless. Why is this? Like how hard can it be to make it work?
I know. I would love to have the answer to that, Dayle, because it's one of our big frustrations. Like we hold ourselves out as proactive accountants, as I'm sure most firms aspire to, and part of that is being able to have a really decent CRM, so that we don't like just bombarding all of our clients with some generic newsletter. We want to be able to go, right, tell us the clients that this legislation affects with these criteria. And it feels like it shouldn't be that difficult to do, but we've had the same thing. Very clunky, very difficult to mail out directly through the system as well. You end up exporting things and then still using Outlook functionality and mail merges and stuff. It's a challenge. If anyone's out there listening, we need one.
I'm working on it. Don't tell anyone. Basil Akang, pardon me, I'm new here. What is this live about? That's a very good question, Basil. Okay, so Flabonga Monthrothacube started about 2-3 years ago, almost on 200 episodes. I invite business owners or people who are experts in the industries to ask them about the industry. I ask the dumb questions that most people are too afraid to ask. I also interlace it with personal / silly questions just to make it somewhat entertaining, mostly because I think I've got undiagnosed ADHD and pattern interruption is funny for me. It's mostly for my own amusement. Hopefully that answers the question. I mean, Joe, do you want to give your take on the show, or like, does that sound accurate to you? Or?
That sounds absolutely perfectly accurate. But I'd argue with you to say that the silly questions are just for the interruption purposes. Though I do feel like it does help you sort of really get to know the person a bit better, doesn't it?
No,
find out if
really.
they're your vibe. No,
Nah,
not at all. No,
nah.
You take nothing from the biscuit conversation.
Absolutely nothing.
Fine.
I used to analyze the biscuit question to know to the nth degree, and then realize people just say anything arbitrary, so there's no correlation.
But even the ones you were saying that follow up with email afterwards, that says something about their personality, I feel.
Yeah, they're deep thinkers. You're correct. It does help a little bit. I'm messing with you. So yeah, hope that was a good summary of the show. Oh, there's another thing, Basil. This is completely unscripted, so when I'm pausing, it's because I'm thinking of questions to ask people. Some people think it's an awkward silence. I'm okay with it. Okay, Joe, here's a one that could get you in trouble. Why is it sometimes accountants and lawyers seem to have beef? Like for uninitiated, they seem to go hand in hand, especially corporate law and accounting. But somehow you all don't play nice together. Why is this?
Basically, from my perspective, we accountants are very jealous of the lawyers. We're very jealous because
they make more money.
Yes, and you guys just get away with charging whatever. Like we had to move away from hourly billing a long time ago because people just don't accept it. No, I want to know how much it's going to cost. Give me a fixed fee. And then we're running the risk of going, we've now got to somehow get this job done within this crazy budget. And obviously they haven't told us half of the information, and they've told us it's all in good order and it's not. But if we argue, we'll get into a debate with them about, well, you said it was going to be this or whatever. Whereas you lawyers just seem to just send a bill at the end of the month and go, well, I've spent this many hours, pay up. and yeah, we're jealous of that. So that's where the beef.
That's why
comes
there's
from.
beef. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've had it sometimes
It's
where, like, you know,
unfair.
I've been working on a project and I've been, again, they're coordinating. And I've got the accountant on one side, I've got a bookkeeper on the other side, I've got a lawyer on one side, and the client wants something. And then the accountant's like, I'm waiting on the lawyer. And the lawyer's like, I'm waiting on the accountant. It's like, you can't both be waiting on each other. One of you is mistaken. Why is this? Like, it can't be both of you.
It probably is that neither of us has done what we're supposed to be doing, and so, but we're just going to blame the other one for not doing their part.
Oh, we've got another one. What irks you when lawyers overstep their bounds? Because again, I know there's, again, with limited companies, there's some overlap sometimes with like COSEC work or things like that. What things do lawyers try and do? You're like, no, you need the accounting expertise. So can you give an example?
Yeah. We never mind them taking the COSEC stuff, to be honest, because that can be a bit of a minefield. And if they're doing shareholders agreements and stuff, it sort of makes sense that they make sure that it matches, because God forbid we did something that didn't reflect properly the shareholders agreement that they come up with. But it's more when they sort of insinuate that you might need tax advice about something, but they have basically told the client already that that's what they should do. And then we're like, hang on a minute, we have to sort of go into panic stations about that, how that's going to affect everything else that they're doing.
Fantastic. I'm sure it's the other way around. I'll try and find out when I get some lawyers on here. In fact, do you know any lawyers I should have on the show? I mean, I know some I can talk to, but any others?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah. I'll send you some email introductions afterwards. You looking specifically commercial law or?
Nah, any law.
Any law
will do.
Okay.
Any law will do. Yeah. Sam Green in the comments. What up, Sam? Working with accountants, lawyers, and financial planners, there are more similarities than differences.
It's true. I'd agree with that, Sam. I think the issue as well is oftentimes the client, depending on the complexity of the situation, they need the whole squad. They think generally we are the first port of call. That I'll put myself out there and say that they'll generally go, they think we know absolutely everything about everything. So it's like, yeah, I've got this legal issue and I've got this pension issue, and we're like, yeah, we can't advise on those things, we're not regulated. And they're like, yeah, but just your opinion, because we've already got that trust relationship from doing the compliance work. And then we say, well, we've got to bring in these other professionals and we have to work together on it.
I agree. And focusing only on accountancy, until I worked in this realm, as it were, industry, weird way of saying that, I didn't even know there was different disciplines of accountancy. Like, I assumed if you're an accountant, you knew everything about accountancy, but I've since learned I think it's like 10 to maybe 12 different disciplines. Someone who is an expert in VAT doesn't necessarily do year-end. Someone who does year-end doesn't do audit, or someone does audit doesn't do year-end. And they're completely different in functionality and what businesses need them. And actually, you can't just assume your accountant that you go to knows all about VAT or even tax. Like, when you think accountants are all about tax, there's basic year-end and tax, and then there's like niche tax advisory that is, again, next level. Yeah, crazy stuff. You work with tradies, right? Construction.
Yes.
CIS. There's a whole other specialist thing that people don't know about.
CIS, Dale. CIS.
Yeah. CIS, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're completely right. And I find the bigger the firm that they've worked for, the more niche they are. Like we do accounts and tax returns for clients who used to work for KPMG, places like that. What they did was so specialist that they can't do a generic SME set of accounts. So generally, the bigger, the more specialist. Small practitioners generally have got more varied, but then they won't know any of the specialist service offerings like R&D, like you say, CIS, and also industries. Like, it's, for certain clients, industry experience is quite important as well, because if you don't know certain things about their industry, it will impact the level of advice that you're able to give. And you don't know what you don't know. That's the danger of it. You only know what you've come across. Some accountants don't really know much about property, for example. I have to say, a lot of the advisory stuff that I do, it tends to come from my experience as a business person rather than my qualifications as an accountant, because it's what you come across as especially sort of with the M&A and the high growth work. That's more where the advisory comes from. But if I hadn't done any of that, I wouldn't be able to assist.
Okay, going back a step, I want to say a good 10 minutes. You mentioned about being a proactive accounting firm. What does that actually mean? Let's be honest. Every accountant on LinkedIn or every website says proactive. The fudge does that mean? What am I getting for my proactivity? What is an inactive accountant, and what is a proactive accountant? Can you give me some examples?
Yeah, of course. I think for me, the non-proactive is that the conversation is only ever transactional. So it's only ever, you know, we need this records from you by this date. They give said records. We give reports back that state this is how much tax you have to pay. See you next year, kind of thing. And for some clients, that's actually all they want. You know, they want to pay a very minimal fee, and they just want you to take care of the compliance. But you know, there's varying degrees of additional services that clients want and are prepared to pay for, which is effectively for you to come to them and say, you know, you should be doing this, or you should be looking at that restructuring, or this new legislation's come out and this is going to affect you in this way, therefore you should make these changes. So yeah, it's trying to be sort of ahead of the curve and being a source of information guidance.
Having watched so much American TV and movies, I just assume that's how all accountants work. It's like in America, where they're more litigious and taxes are weird state by state. Like, I think most people have a personal accountant who does that. Like, they meet with them like quarterly, and they'll be like, "This is your financial position." Like, that seems more normal in America, but not so much here.
No, and I think, to be honest, it is, in fairness to us accountants, very, very difficult to achieve, just because of the level of the deadlines that we're dealing with. Like, in every business, margins are being squeezed and squeezed, so you're having to spend less and less time on a job to be able to still make a profit, to be able to offer the job at a price they're willing to pay, and still pay your team well to keep hold of them and all of this. So you just get into this whole, you've just got to get the jobs out, you know, you've got to get the deadlines done. But you know, you need to make the capacity, whether that's utilizing automation,
AI?
or making sure that you sell that added value in the first place. You know, you're asking the client to pay a little bit more, but saying, you know, this is an investment because XYZ, rather than making sure that they're not comparing like for like. So if they're looking at a quote for basic compliance from your firm down the road, making sure they know what they're getting that's different if they come to you.
I realize I mentioned the buzzword, and I'm going to have to ask you about it. Is AI taking all the bookkeeping and accounting jobs? Yes or no? Or is it not a yes or no question?
Not yet. I mean, I am worried about that. I think everyone is, to some extent, as to how it's going to impact their industry. But, you know, so far, AI has just made our lives better. You know, we as professionals have been able to improve our capacity, improve the client experience, you know, much easier for them to transfer and deliver records to us and all of that, improve the accuracy, you know, of what we're doing, but just to assist the personal touch rather than replace it, to do the stuff that's, you know, repetitive and tedious, and mean they can focus more on adding value to the client. So yeah, so far so good.
Okay, so linking that back to something you said previously, you said juniors coming into accounting and bookkeeping now maybe aren't so good with journaling because they don't see the T transactions and stuff like that because software. Could the same problem occur with AI? If you've got a younger generation coming in using software for automation, then AI to make adjustments, are they learning? Or is it the responsibility of people who are more established to teach them the old school way?
Yeah, I think it's the responsibility of those teaching, because I think it would be very easy to just lean on the AI tools, and they're not there yet. You know, they're not anywhere near yet accurate enough to just be left unsupervised with somebody's accounts job. You know, it makes crazy assumptions and does things wrong and duplicates things. And if you had no mechanism of checking, of understanding, you know, the process of reconciliation, then that would be a dangerous position to be in, I think, for the client.
Yeah, I've said it before and I say it again. My take is that, like, if there were a company to create an AI bookkeeping, accounting, all the way through filing system, I don't think the insurance company for that company would ever say, we're going to insure you based on your claim that of 100% accuracy. And with that done, you're going to have some kind of qualified person checking it.
Yeah,
that's my logic on it so far.
Yeah. And also the thing with using AI to do something like that is somebody's still got to use the AI, teach the AI, instruct the AI, and clients generally don't know what to ask it to do or how to prompt it or how. So they're still going to want a person involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a relationship where they can, you know, ask questions and do planning and things like that.
So the question, can I ask you about Bell's Accountants app/tech stack, or is that a secret, closely guarded thing? And what are you using? Are you Zero Peeps? Are you QuickBooks Peeps? Is it based on the client? Are you Free Agent? Are you Dex?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Or is it a secret?
Yeah, so no, it's not a secret. So yeah, primarily for the bookkeeping, we use Xero and Dext. Yeah, some of you may have seen on LinkedIn that we recently, so end of last year, for our practice management and everything else, actually, we have partnered with Acting Office. If anyone would like to speak to me about my experience of Acting Office, more than happy to have a chat about that, because it's been a really interesting implementation process, and they're able to offer a lot of what I would say bespoke options, whereas lots of the larger software firms up to now have been very, very rigid in terms of, well, that's just how it works and there's nothing you can do about it. So it doesn't necessarily fit in too well with your practice's working process, whereas our experience has been of Acting Office has been very different and positive. So yeah.
Can you give an example of Active Office being a bit more flexible?
Yeah, it basically, for example, we were talking about CRM earlier, weren't we? It's almost entirely bespoke. So obviously there's initially a fixed, here's the practice management element of the software, but you can add extra fields, you can add extra tick boxes, you can add extra reports. There's a lot of flexibility to it, so it's really good.
Cool. Sorry, I have a small human next to me. It's very hard to concentrate on two different conversations. I'm not going to lie. Okay, we're almost at the hour. Before we leave and say end stream, Joe, is there any particular advice, nugget of wisdom, or bombshell you want to leave before I click end stream? It can be work-wise, it can be personal-wise, or it can just be pure nonsense.
I think I'm going to go work-wise, Dayle, and I am going to make a shameless plug for my books, the children's books that I wrote. So I am a big fan of financial education for young people. So if you have some young people, teach them about money. It's really, really difficult concept to help children understand, because actually they don't know what money is now. They never seen money. They just think it's a miraculous thing where you just keep beep, 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 and money comes out of nowhere. And that does concern me. And I just think the world is designed to get young people into debt and generally make their lives harder. So myself and my colleague Anna got involved with a publisher called Ruby Tuesday, and we wrote a series of books called Money and You. They're aimed at 8 to 16-year-olds, but particularly the one that's called Running a Business. That one, I've had a fair few adults read that and say that it's really, really great and useful. But there's other ones, investing, savings, budgeting. And yeah, we're hoping to roll out a program soon in primary schools, because it's recently been added to the curriculum, which is really positive news as well. So we want to make a program to make the books that little bit more interactive. So it's not just a textbook style. It's also got some fun games and interactive resources and things. So yeah. Cool.
On that note, I'm going to hit end stream. Joe, thank you for being an awesome guest. Mark, Mehul, Basil, Sam, others, thank you for commenting. Good to see you guys. Much appreciated.